Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hannah. This is Pepper and Pine. Welcome to day 7 of Qur'an Journaling for Surah Kahf. So I am going to be working on Ayah number 7, and I'm working on the lower part of the previous page that we worked on in our previous lesson. I'm showing you just a quick overview of the work that we have done, starting with Ayah number 1. I'm using a blank drawing journal with pages that I had bound at a local office supply store. And this works really well for me, but I do have other resources if this type of journaling isn't right for you. I'm using my Ibn Kathir Tafsir book along with some online resources. You can find all of those resources in the description box below. I also have my Qur'an notebook, which I really love. I didn't intend to use it as much as I am, but I wanted to provide this as an option for you if the illustrations and the writing that I'm doing isn't the right thing for you. This has blank pages on one side where you can add all of your notes and tafsirs and reflection based on the ayahs that you are studying. I also have my word-for-word Qur'an. It's on my desk, and I'm going to be using that now to write the translation of the ayah, as well as the ayah in Arabic, as well as the word-for-word, and my short reflection, which is going to be at the very bottom of the page. Now, I realize that I have been taking up too much room with my writing and my illustrations, and I need to fit more content on one page. There was one ayah that was very short, and it took up the entire page, which with a beautiful illustration, but I am going to need to leave more room for more reflections and make the illustrations a little bit smaller. So that's what I was attempting to do here. However, I ended up writing just a little bit too small. It's a little bit hard for me to write in the word-for-word translation, just because I wrote everything so small. Now, you are going to see me using an eraser for pen. I did not make any mistakes in writing the Arabic as far as I can tell. I did make a mistake previously on yesterday's work, and I just ripped out that entire page so that you wouldn't have seen that mistake at all, but I did speak about it. But I am using my eraser pen just to fix the way that I wrote a few letters so that they could look a little bit nicer and better. So that's what you saw me doing there. And now I'm writing in the word for word underneath each of these Arabic words. And I really like writing in the word for word because I am trying to memorize each of these words and understand what each of the words mean, in addition to increasing my proficiency in reading for this surah, because ultimately I want to be reading the surah every Friday, as the sunnah, the hadith mentions, to read it every Friday. And I do want to continue my memorization of this surah, so it is also advised to memorize and recite the first 10 ayahs as well. So that's also on my goal list, but also understanding the meaning and the word-for-word meaning is high on my priority list as well. I am not an Arabic speaker, and that is also one of my goals. But until then, I am trying to make sure that as many words as I can start to memorize, I am, and it's really helping because you'll notice that there are a lot of words that repeat themselves in the Qur'an, and there are some resources that will teach you, like say, the 500 most common words in the Qur'an, and that will help you understand a great majority of the Qur'an. Now, this will help you understand the meaning, but not necessarily the tafsir and the deeper meanings. So I just want to put that out there, that understanding the translation is a little bit different than all of the work that scholars go into when they are explaining the Qur'an. So for this illustration, I am just doing beauty. This earth is an adornment. So this ayah is a very beautiful ayah. And it says, "Verily we have made that which is on the earth as an adornment for it, in order that we may test them," mankind, "as to which of them are best in deeds." And there's a note here for deeds, is that those who do good deeds in the most perfect manner, that means to do them, those deeds, totally for Allah's sake and in accordance to the legal ways of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so I'm just doing some of the illustrations that I know best, and that's mountains and trees. And so you'll see a lot of those motifs repeated often in this Qur'an journal because those are simple for me to do. I think they're beautiful, and they do illustrate the point of this ayah well enough for me as a memory tool to remember. However, there are a lot more details to this ayah, and I only wrote one sentence at the very bottom, but there is more depth to the tests that we will encounter and all of the beauty that this world possesses, not just in nature, but everything else that Allah has provided for us. And so there is more depth to this ayah than just the beauty that you see around you reflected in nature. So this is a look at the full page with both the ayahs and the illustrations with them. I really like the way that it turned out. I feel like this is a great tool for me to continue to learn, to reflect, and to memorize the Quran that I am looking to memorize for this year and this Ramadan in particular. I hope that you're enjoying this series. I hope that you're following along and doing your own Qur'an journaling as well. If you are, please share your work on Instagram and don't forget to tag me. Don't forget to check out the blog post that accompanies this video for all of the resources that I'm using. And don't forget that you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.